one of the most hated characters in Pokemon, recently sent a shockwave of fresh anger throughout the Japanese Pokemon community, so let's talk about it. Hey everyone, it's Charles. How are you today? Welcome to the new year. I actually intended to start the new year with a video about goal setting, but what do you know? I deleted it by accident. So what better way to follow a colossal failure than with a fresh video on a colossal failure of a Pokemon anime character. A character who recently ignited a royal roast over here in the Japanese Pokemon community. Of course, we are talking about Max, and today we'll be zeroing in on Japan's explosive hatred of this little butt sniffer. A years-old hatred that was given new life when a small Japanese Twitter account posted about how detestable Max is for constantly cock-blocking Brock, and, well, you know, that post got 54,000 likes and spread across the internet practically overnight. No biggie. It's like everyone in the Japanese Pokemon community just came together around a common cause, that cause being hating Max. And yes, it would seem that Japanese fans in fact dislike Max about as much as the overseas community. So today we are going to 1. Toss out a quick reminder about who Max is, 2. Whip through a series of hilarious tweets roasting Max while also looking at why exactly everyone got so worked up, and 3. Wrapping things up with a few takeaways and a little bit of Japanese culture talk. And as always, it will be a fun time, so kindly request your Machoke to cross-chop Max in the kidneys. I mean, to cross-chop the like button for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe for some wacky big videos just around the corner, and let's jump right in. Just to quickly refresh our memories on Max, he's the little brother of Ash's Hoenn region companion May, who co-starred in the Advanced Generation series alongside Ash, May, and the Brockorock. And as you may have gathered from my All Ash Ketchum Companions ranked video, if you've seen it and if you haven't, well, watch it. Max is widely hated in the Pokemon community for being not just boring and unimportant, but also for being an arrogant know-it-all to everyone in spite of being little more than an inexperienced pipsqueak. And while I defended Max to some extent in that video, and I don't personally think he's quite as intolerable as many people suggest, I do understand why many fans want to hurl him straight down a garbage chute. Max and Brock also had this interesting relationship in that they had a sort of tight bro bond going on, but at the same time, Max took over Misty's role of cock-blocking Brock at every possible opportunity. Of course, back in Advanced Generations, other characters also took their turns at pegging the bull back into his pen, but Max took it to the extreme, and it was pretty annoying, and certainly not how I would want to be treated by my bros if I were trying to lay down my A game. Max kinda sucks, but let's let Japanese Twitter do the talking. It is time to kick things off with the tweet that caused mayhem. Here is the original tweet. I'm watching the Pokemon movie, but I really hate this guy who decided to take on the role of pulling Brock away by his ear whenever he gets involved with a beautiful woman. Well, apparently at least 54,000 people in Japan alone agree with you, my friend. And yeah, if some crappy little dude kept interfering with me while I was trying to execute the game plan, I know I would personally want to shovel them right into a crypt in Minecraft. But let's see what other fans had to say about Farty Pants Max's bad bro behavior. Max was a f***ing detestable character. Lol. He's already an absurdly unpopular character overseas. Yes, he most certainly is. His arm in the back is way bigger than the arm in front of him. No kidding, a lot of people did mention that. And he somehow reminds me of Kazuma from Scryed. And if you actually know that manga, please reward yourself with a caramel latte. You deserve it. This reminds me of how much I hate Four Eyes over here. I hate Max. Brock is a dude who ticks off all the boxes who few women would be unhappy to be hit on by. You are damn right he is. He cooks, he cleans, he fishes, he's a gym leader, he's jacked, he's kind-hearted, he's a doctor, or at least on his way to becoming a doctor. How this man is not swimming in women is one of the great mysteries of the Pokemon universe. But at least in part, it is due to his jackass friends like Max. Brock is a gym leader, has a high salary, he can do household chores and cook, he's nice, and he also has this maternal side to him, so he's about as close to the ideal man as you can get. I see this person agrees with me. I should have just let them write the video for me. Misty, Krogunk, Max. The succession of ear pullers. Well, you'd best switch Krogunk and Max around there, but absolutely, poor Brock just never gets a break. And the haunting even continued in Sun and Moon, although he at least came somewhat closer to hitting the Grand Slam. Max sure had tons of haters. XY's Bonnie was kinda like a character who leveraged Max's areas for improvement. That she was, and she was marginally less bland as well. It's because Brock's genetics are too strong. The lineage of beautiful women would die out. Is that a roast of Brock's family scorching out of the peanut gallery right there? I think that it is. Sorry girls. But no kidding, Brock's dad is apparently working a kind of mojo on a different level from most men out there. And all I can say is that I hope I do not pass on all of my facial features to my daughters as faithfully as old Master Flint has done. Good gravy. Or rather, they're totally the same, aren't they? Brock's mom is the only one who looks different, to the point where it's really unsettling. That is a good point. Maybe the males of the Brock family actually reproduce asexually like some kind of mushroom, and Mrs. Broccoli Mom exists merely to cover it up. Azami, Lucy, doesn't look as annoyed as Max would have you believe. This might have very well turned into a mutual love. That is a sad fact to consider, but I suppose there is nothing stopping Doc Brock from paying a visit to the battle frontier when he's alone and not surrounded by so much incompetence and tomfoolery. Brock is a perfect human, so whatever. Amen. How is this brat even pulling Brock's ears? He can't normally reach them, can he? I saw a lot of tweets about that, and yeah, this is some Luffy level arm stretching we are seeing here. I really hate Max, but the Jirachi story was a good one. Certainly, he has no right to interfere. I hated Max back then too. I hate this kind of character, the type that butters up the hero, and simply because they're involved with the hero, they keep on saying rude things to their senpai and others. Marude cockblock, yana. What a beautiful expression to find its way into the Japanese language. Surely Max's motive was that he liked Brock, or he wanted to get Brock and May together. If so, he has a common point with Bonnie, trying to set up his sibling with a top-class partner in the future, and that almost makes him a respectable character. So it can't possibly be true. There's an unspoken rule that harems other than Ash's harem are not permitted. This is a fact. The thickness of his arms is clearly different. Lucy's cute. It's because Brock is being kept for May. Brock's onyx is mine. Gross. This beautiful woman doesn't have a problem with it. Brock's a stud. This stupid brat knows nothing about love. True, and true. Max really was the worst. He's so annoying. Lucy was this cute? Max basically is gross, but the Jirachi movie was great. It was, and that was one of the few instances in which Max really redeemed himself, in my opinion. Who's that girl? Sorry for asking so abruptly. Please, tell me the name of the long black-haired girl who's blushing. I'm looking for her on Pixiv. I'm sure you are. Just like everyone else who seems pretty desperate to learn her name. So if there are any takeaways from this roasting festival, they have to be that 1, much like overseas fans, most Japanese fans on Twitter really hate Max. 2, quite a large number of people either forgot or never knew who Lucy was, but are quite desperately looking for what I'm sure are very G-rated pictures of her. And 3, people around the world love Brock, and rightfully so. He is a badass, held back by crappy friends like Max. Well, as far as my closing thoughts on the whole Brock and Max thing go, the thing about Max and Brock's relationship is that they're very much a two-man act that feels like something that sailed right out of a Japanese manzai skit. Manzai being a Japanese style of comedy in which a duo of comedians hit the mic and really play off one another. Brock is very much the bokeh of the pair, the jester doing all kinds of silly stuff, and Max is the tsukomi, the partner who reacts to bokeh Brock by cutting him down, sort of like a straight man in Western comedy. As you know, Misty used to fulfill this role, and Krogunk later does as well, and this dynamic is something that you will see in an enormous number of anime out there. Basically, Max was very intentionally crafted into the little butt nugget that he is, and whether or not that makes his bro-blasting behavior more acceptable or less acceptable, I don't know. But what I do know is that personally, I don't hate Max as much as others, even though he is kind of an annoying little brat. And I also know that I do absolutely love Brock as a character, so I guess I can relate to how these fans are feeling. But how about you? Do you hate Max? Do you love him? Did it tick you off how he always pulled Brock off his A-game, much as Misty did before him? And in your opinion, who is the most annoying character in Pokemon? I'm curious what you think. Well everyone, thank you very much for tuning in today. Do not forget to subscribe if you haven't already. It makes my videos just a little bit easier to find. We will be back again soon with a couple smaller fun videos before a big banger next week. Until then, I hope you all have a very healthy, happy, and safe time, and as always, let's chat.
What?